Hey there, garden lovers. Welcome back to Garden Crumbs, where we help you grow the garden of your dreams, one plant at a time. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss our weekly gardening tips and inspiration. Today, we're diving into something absolutely spectacular, the 12 most beautiful flowers you need to plant this May. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just getting your hands dirty for the first time, May is truly one of the best months to get planting. The soil is warming up. The danger of frost is behind us in most regions, and your garden is just waiting to burst into color. So grab your gardening gloves, pull out your trowels, and let's transform your outdoor space into a breathtaking floral paradise. And hey, stick around until the end because I'll be sharing my personal tips on how to keep these beauties thriving all summer long. Let's get growing. Number one on our list is the stunning zinnia. Now, if you're looking for a flower that delivers maximum impact with minimal fuss, zinnias are your answer. These cheerful blooms come in practically every color imaginable, from deep burgundy to bright orange, soft pink to pure white, and they're absolute magnets for butterflies and hummingbirds. Planting zinnias in May is perfect because they absolutely love warm soil and won't germinate well if you plant them too early. You can direct sow zinnia seeds right into your garden bed after the last frost date, spacing them about 6 to 12 inches apart depending on the variety. They prefer full sun, at least 6 to 8 hours a day, and well-draining soil. One of the things I love most about zinnias is that they're actually cut and come again flowers, which means the more you cut them for bouquets, the more blooms they produce. They'll flower continuously from early summer right up until the first frost, giving you months of gorgeous color. For best results, water them at the base rather than overhead to prevent powdery mildew, and deadhead spent blooms regularly to encourage more flowering. Whether you choose towering giants that reach 3 feet tall or compact varieties perfect for containers, zinnias are guaranteed to brighten your garden all season long. Number 2 is the beloved sunflower. And honestly, is there anything more joyful than a field of sunflowers turning their faces toward the sun? May is absolutely the ideal time to get sunflowers in the ground because they need warm soil to germinate quickly and establish strong roots. Sunflowers come in an incredible range of sizes and colors now, not just the classic giant yellow varieties we all know. You can find branching types that produce multiple blooms, dwarf varieties perfect for containers, chocolate brown sunflowers, burgundy reds, and even lovely lemon cream bicolors. To plant sunflowers, choose a spot with full sun and dig your soil deep because these plants develop substantial root systems. Sow seeds about an inch deep and 6 inches apart, then thin them to 12 to 18 inches apart once they sprout. If you're growing the giant varieties, you might want to stake them or plant them along a fence for support. Sunflowers are incredibly easy to grow and relatively pest-resistant, making them perfect for beginning gardeners or for planting with kids. They'll bloom in about 70 to 90 days depending on the variety, and if you leave the seed heads on the plants at the end of the season, you'll attract all kinds of birds to your garden. Plus, you can harvest and roast the seeds for a delicious homegrown snack. Plant them in succession every 2 weeks through June if you want continuous blooms throughout the summer and fall. Number 3 brings us to the elegant cosmos. And these delicate beauties are some of my absolute favorites for cottage garden charm. Cosmos are incredibly easy to grow from seed, incredibly drought-tolerant once established, and they self-sow readily, which means you plant them once and they'll likely come back year after year. May is perfect for direct seeding cosmos into your garden beds or containers. They come in lovely shades of pink, white, burgundy, and orange with feathery foliage that adds a soft, romantic texture to your garden. To plant cosmos, simply scatter seeds over prepared soil, lightly cover them, and keep the soil moist until germination, which usually happens within 7 to 10 days. These flowers actually prefer lean soil, so don't over-fertilize them or you'll get lots of foliage and fewer blooms. They thrive in full sun and can tolerate poor soil and drought conditions, making them perfect for those challenging spots in your garden. Cosmos grow quickly, often reaching 4 to 6 feet tall, and they create a beautiful, airy backdrop for shorter plants. They're also phenomenal for cutting gardens because they bloom prolifically and last well in vases. Deadheading will encourage more blooms, but I often let some of the later flowers go to seed because I love seeing the volunteer seedlings pop up the following spring. They attract beneficial insects like lacewings and parasitic wasps, making them excellent companion plants for your vegetable garden too. Number 4 is the magnificent dahlia, and if you want show-stopping blooms that will have your neighbors stopping to admire your garden, dahlias are absolutely essential. Now, dahlias are grown from tubers rather than seeds, and May is the perfect time to plant them once your soil has warmed to at least 60 degrees. Dahlias come in an absolutely mind-boggling array of forms, sizes, and colors, from tiny pom-pom varieties to dinner-plate dahlias with blooms 12 inches across. You can find cactus dahlias with spiky petals, water lily dahlias with flat, layered petals, and ball dahlias with perfectly round blooms. Choose a planting site with full sun and rich, well-draining soil. Dig a hole about 6 to 8 inches deep, place your tuber horizontally with the eye pointing up, and cover it with soil. Don't water them right away. Wait until you see shoots emerging, then begin regular watering. As your dahlias grow, you'll want to stake the taller varieties to prevent them from toppling over in wind or rain. Pinching out the growing tip when the plant is about 12 inches tall will encourage bushier growth and more blooms. Dahlias are heavy feeders, so incorporate plenty of compost into your soil and consider side dressing with compost or a balanced fertilizer throughout the growing season. The payoff is absolutely worth it because dahlias will bloom from midsummer until frost, providing you with armloads of stunning cut flowers. Just remember that in zones 7 and colder, you'll need to dig up the tubers after the first frost and store them indoors over winter for replanting next spring. Number 5 is the cheerful marigold, a garden classic that deserves a place in every May planting plan. Marigolds are incredibly versatile, ridiculously easy to grow, and they serve multiple purposes in your garden beyond just looking beautiful. These hardy annuals come in shades of yellow, orange, red, and burgundy, with some lovely bicolor varieties as well. You can choose from tall African marigolds with large pom-pom-like blooms, compact French marigolds perfect for edging, or signet marigolds with delicate single flowers and lacy foliage. May is ideal for planting marigolds because they need warm soil and will grow quickly once temperatures rise. You can start with transplants from your local nursery or direct sow seeds, which will germinate in just 5 to 7 days in warm soil. Plant them in full sun with well-draining soil, spacing them according to the variety's mature size. Marigolds are famous for their pest-repelling properties. They emit a scent that deters aphids, mosquitoes, and even rabbits, making them excellent companion plants for your vegetable garden. Plant them near tomatoes, peppers, and squash to help protect those crops. They're also incredibly low maintenance, requiring only moderate water and no fertilizer in average soil. Deadheading spent blooms will keep them flowering continuously, but even if you forget, marigolds are pretty forgiving and will still put on a good show. They also attract beneficial pollinators and make excellent cut flowers for informal bouquets. Best of all, they'll bloom reliably from early summer until hard frost, giving you months of cheerful color. Number 6 brings us to the romantic sweet pea, and if you've never grown these fragrant climbing flowers, you're in for an absolute treat. Sweet peas are cool season annuals, and while many gardeners plant them in early spring or even late winter in mild climates, May is still a good time to get them in the ground, especially if you choose heat-tolerant varieties. These old-fashioned favorites come in an incredible range of colors, from pure white and soft pastels to deep purples and vibrant bicolors, and their fragrance is simply intoxicating. Sweet peas are climbers, so you'll need to provide support like a trellis, fence, or teepee structure. Before planting, soak the seeds overnight to soften the hard seed coat and improve germination. Plant them about an inch deep and 2 inches apart in rich, moisture-retentive soil amended with plenty of compost. They prefer full sun in cooler climates, but will appreciate some afternoon shade in hotter regions. Keep the soil consistently moist, especially as they begin to bloom. The key to prolonging sweet pea blooms is to cut them regularly. They're perfect for cottage garden bouquets, and cutting them prevents seed formation, which extends the flowering period. If you let them go to seed, they'll stop producing flowers, Mulch around the base of the plants to keep roots cool and feed them every 2 to 3 weeks with a high potassium fertilizer to promote abundant blooms. In very hot climates, sweet peas may peter out by midsummer, but in more moderate areas they'll bloom for months, filling your garden with color and the most beautiful fragrance you can imagine. Number 7 is the vibrant nasturtium, a flower that's not only beautiful but completely edible, making it a favorite among gardeners who love dual-purpose plants. Nasturtiums come in trailing and bush varieties with flowers in shades of yellow, orange, red, and even cream, often with contrasting darker throats. The leaves are perfectly round and lily pad-like, adding unique foliage interest to your garden. May is perfect for planting nasturtiums because they germinate quickly in warm soil and don't transplant well, so direct sowing is your best bet. Simply push the large seeds about half an inch into the soil, spacing them 8 to 12 inches apart, and they'll sprout within 7 to 12 days. Nasturtiums actually prefer poor soil. Rich soil will give you lots of lush leaves but fewer flowers. They thrive in full sun but can tolerate partial shade, and they're remarkably drought-tolerant once established. One of the best things about nasturtiums is their pest control properties. They're a trap crop for aphids, meaning aphids will flock to nasturtiums and leave your other plants alone. You can then simply hose off the aphids or remove affected nasturtium leaves. Both the flowers and leaves have a peppery watercress-like flavor and make beautiful, spicy additions to salads. The flowers are also gorgeous as edible garnishes. Trailing varieties are perfect for cascading over the edges of containers or retaining walls, while bush types make excellent low borders. They'll self-sow readily, so you'll likely have volunteer plants coming up in future years, filling in gaps in your garden beds naturally. Number 8 is the elegant coneflower, also known as echinacea, and while these are technically perennials that you might typically plant in spring or fall, many nurseries offer blooming-sized plants in May that you can pop right into your garden for immediate impact. Coneflowers are prairie natives, which means they're incredibly tough, drought-tolerant, and perfectly suited to hot summer conditions. Traditional coneflowers are purple-pink with distinctive spiky orange centers, but plant breeders have developed amazing new colors including white, yellow, orange, red, and even green. When planting coneflowers in May, choose a location with full sun and well-draining soil. They absolutely won't tolerate soggy conditions. Dig a hole as deep and twice as wide as the root ball. Place your plant, backfill with soil, and water well to help it establish. Once established, coneflowers are incredibly low maintenance and drought-tolerant, needing water only during extended dry spells. They bloom from midsummer through early fall, and the seed heads that form after flowering provide food for goldfinches and other birds throughout winter. Many gardeners leave the seed heads standing for winter interest and wildlife value, cutting them back in early spring. Coneflowers are also wonderful for cut flower arrangements, lasting well over a week in a vase. They spread slowly over time, forming nice clumps that you can divide every few years to create more plants. As perennials, they'll come back year after year, getting better and more floriferous with age, making them an excellent investment for long-term garden beauty. Number 9 is the delicate bachelor's button, also called cornflower. And these charming flowers add a touch of wildflower meadow magic to any garden. Bachelor's buttons are cool season annuals, but May is still a great time to plant them, especially in areas with moderate summers. They're most famous for their brilliant blue flowers, but they also come in pink, white, purple, and even maroon. These easy care flowers are perfect for cottage gardens, cutting gardens, and wildflower meadows. To plant bachelor's buttons, simply scatter seeds over prepared soil and lightly rake them in. They need light to germinate, so don't bury them deeply. They'll sprout within 7 to 14 days and grow quickly. Bachelor's buttons prefer full sun and average, well-draining soil. They're actually quite tolerant of poor soil and don't need fertilizer, which makes them perfect for low-maintenance gardens. One of the best things about these flowers is how long they last in arrangements. They're fantastic for fresh bouquets and can even be dried for everlasting arrangements. They'll bloom throughout summer, and if you deadhead regularly or cut them for bouquets, they'll keep producing flowers. They also self-sow readily, so you'll likely get volunteers next year. Bachelor's buttons attract butterflies and bees, making them valuable for pollinators, and deer tend to leave them alone, which is a bonus if you garden in areas with deer pressure. Plant them in drifts for the most natural, meadow-like effect, or mix them with other cottage garden favorites like cosmos and zinnias for a cheerful, informal planting. Number 10 brings us to the showy colosia, a unique flower that adds both color and texture to your garden with its velvety, brain-like or feathery plumes. Colosia comes in two main forms: cristata types with crested, convoluted flower heads that look almost like brains or coral, and plumosa types with feathery, plume-like flowers. Both are stunning and come in vibrant shades of red, orange, yellow, pink, and magenta. May is the perfect time to plant colosia because these heat lovers absolutely thrive in warm conditions and won't perform well if planted too early in cool soil. You can start with transplants or direct sow seeds in warm soil. Colosia prefers full sun and well-draining soil enriched with compost. Space plants according to variety, usually 8 to 12 inches apart. Water regularly, especially during the first few weeks as plants establish, but once they're growing strongly, they're quite drought tolerant. One of Colosia's best features is its incredibly long bloom time. The flowers last for months and the colors actually intensify rather than fade as they age. They're exceptional for fresh-cut flowers and also dry beautifully for everlasting arrangements. Simply hang them upside down in a dark, dry place. Colosia is also quite heat and humidity tolerant, making it perfect for southern gardens or anywhere with hot summers. The flowers attract butterflies, and the plants are generally pest and disease resistant. Dwarf varieties work beautifully in containers, while taller varieties make dramatic statements in the back of borders. They'll bloom continuously from early summer until frost, providing unwavering color even during the dog days of August when many other annuals are struggling. Number 11 is the fragrant stock, and if you love flowers that perfume your entire garden, you absolutely need to plant stock this May. Stock flowers, also called Mathiola, produce dense spikes of ruffled, highly fragrant blooms in shades of white, pink, purple, red, and yellow. While stock is technically a cool season annual, many heat-tolerant varieties have been developed that perform well when planted in May. Choose a location with full sun to partial shade and rich, well-draining soil. Stock prefers slightly alkaline soil, so if your soil is acidic, consider adding some lime before planting. You can direct sow seeds or start with transplants. If direct sowing, barely cover the seeds as they need light to germinate. Keep the soil consistently moist until seedlings are established. Stock plants grow 12 to 30 inches tall depending on variety, and they work beautifully in both garden beds and containers. The fragrance is most pronounced in the evening, making stock perfect for planting near patios, walkways, or bedroom windows where you can enjoy the scent. They make outstanding cut flowers, lasting up to 2 weeks in a vase and filling your home with their clove-like fragrance. To encourage bushier growth and more flower spikes, pinch young plants when they're about 4 inches tall. Stock will bloom for several weeks, and while they may slow down in extreme heat, deadheading spent flower spikes will encourage additional blooms. They attract butterflies and are generally deer-resistant. For maximum impact, plant stock in groups or drifts so their collective fragrance can truly be appreciated. Number 12, our final flower, is the cheerful and reliable petunia, a garden staple that has been dramatically improved by plant breeders in recent years. Modern petunias come in an absolutely astounding array of colors, patterns, and growth habits, from trailing varieties perfect for hanging baskets to mounding types ideal for beds and borders. You can find solid colors, stripes, stars, picotés with contrasting edges, and even black petunias that add drama to evening gardens. May is ideal for planting petunias because they need warm soil and air temperatures to really take off and bloom. While you could direct sow seeds, petunias are slow to grow from seed, so most gardeners opt for transplants. Choose a site with full sun for the most abundant blooms, though petunias will tolerate partial shade. Plant them in well-draining soil enriched with compost, spacing them according to variety, usually 8 to 12 inches apart. Water regularly, especially during hot weather, but avoid overhead watering which can damage the flowers. Petunias are heavy feeders, so fertilize every 2 weeks with a balanced liquid fertilizer to keep them blooming prolifically. Newer varieties like wave petunias and supertunia series are much more vigorous and self-cleaning than old-fashioned petunias, meaning they don't require constant deadheading. However, if your petunias get leggy by midsummer, don't hesitate to cut them back by half. They'll quickly regrow and produce a fresh flush of blooms. Petunias bloom continuously from late spring until frost, making them one of the longest blooming annuals you can plant. They're perfect for containers, hanging baskets, window boxes, and as bedding plants, and they attract hummingbirds and butterflies throughout the season. And there you have it, friends. 12 absolutely beautiful flowers that you need to plant this May to create a garden that will dazzle from early summer all the way through fall. Whether you choose just one or two of these beauties or decide to plant all 12, you're setting yourself up for months of color, fragrance, and joy. Remember, the key to success is planting at the right time, and May truly is that sweet spot when the soil is warm, the days are lengthening, and plants can establish themselves before the heat of summer arrives. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow gardening enthusiasts. Don't forget to subscribe to Garden Crumbs if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when we post new content. Drop a comment below and let me know which of these 12 flowers you're most excited to plant, or tell me about your favorite May planting traditions. I love hearing from you and learning about your gardening journeys. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and remember that every garden starts with a single seed. Happy planting, everyone!